Hello everybody, this is Solar Tiger with another model railway video, and this is the latest version of my N-gauge layout, which I've called Solarton. In the last video you saw that I set up a layout on a cork notice board and it worked alright, but I thought that I needed a little extra space, so I've come up with this new version which is built on a piece of MDF board that is 34.5 inches long by 13 inches wide, and I've used some N-gauge flexi track. This track was sold as Kato Flexi Track, but I've not found out much about it by googling online. So this whole section here is Flexi Track. That section in the back is Flexi Track, and then I've got some pieces of Pico track as well. So what we have here is a loop. I wanted a continuous loop. Also I have some sidings. I have a goods area here. So there's a track going into the shed where box vans would go in and they could be unloaded, and I've got an open air section here as well. So that was that. And then there's a siding here so that when the wagons have been unloaded, they can be pulled out and shunted onto this track out here, and more full wagons can be pushed into the shed, or that the wagons can be pushed into the shed and then the locomotive can be parked out here. And I was thinking of putting some coal staves here or a diesel refueling point, as I think they might use more diesel locomotives, shunting locomotives like this, so a refueling point might be a handy thing to put there. So that's what I've got on that side. Over here I've got a passing loop, so I can pull one train onto here and I can run another train round the layout without having to remove this train and take it off the track. So that's what I got there. So I've got a goods shed here. This is a Minitrix goods shed, and I have a small station I got here, and this station can just about handle one full-size passenger carriage, and the loco would be sort of over here somewhere. So this might be a sort of like a small town line, so they'd only have one carriage, or the passenger service might be provided by a diesel rail car, but I haven't found an affordable one yet. They do go for good money, so I'm looking out for one of those. So the only thing that's permanently fixed so far is the loop around the outside, these sidings and this passing loop. And then I looked at the layout more and I thought that I wanted some more operating potential, so I've sort of roughly laid this part. So you'd have a point off of the passing loop over here to another point, and then I've got one siding here and a siding here, and I was thinking of putting a factory here with some kind of loading bay, and on this side here I was thinking of having a coal merchant on this side. So it'd be a siding, there would be staiths, a sort of small office building maybe, and then like trucks could pull up to load up with coal, sort of house coal or something like that. So that would go here in this station sort of car park area. Now, with a goods area over there and a station, you would think that you would need some kind of access to it, especially by road if you're unloading goods onto road vehicles. So I was thinking that maybe I would put a bridge here to allow a road to come in, so that would be access the whole scene. So I'm looking for parts on eBay. The layout is controlled with one of those eBay PWM controllers. They're cheap ones, but they work very well. I've screwed mine under the baseboard, so I've got a speed control knob and a direction control switch, and things are wired to a DC socket over here. And then in my case I have a lead that goes to a cigarette lighter plug, since I have a 12-volt supply that is connected to my solar power system, although you may simply have the DC cable connected to a plug-in transformer, always wall adapter, a 12-volt wall adapter in the region of say 1 amp would work fine. Also in my case I have a resistor wired in series with the power source, so that to limit the current, and the value resistor I've used limits the current to about 0.8 amps. Now the reason for that is that my layout is powered from my 12-volt supply, which is connected to a set of storage batteries, and the issue here is that if I have a short circuit on the track, then what I found before was I blew the fuse in the cigarette lighter plug. It's got a 2 amp fuse in it, and I blew it before, and it's a bit of annoying to replace the fuse. So what I've done is I put a current limiting resistor in series with the power source, so that limits the current to about 0.8 amps and stops me blowing the fuse. So if your locomotive derails or something like that, it could short the track out. The controller, the eBay PWM controller, doesn't seem to have any short circuit protection, and it just blew the fuse before. So that's what I've done. If you're using an AC adapter, it will limit the current to about 1 amp anyway, so that's not a big problem. Now, as I'm using a mixture of FlexiTrack and Pico set track components, and all the individual pieces are set track components. So apart from this point, so I'm looking to buy some more set track components. I need a set track point to fit there, because the streamline one will not fit in there because it doesn't fit. So I'm going to buy a set track point to go here, and I may get one to replace this as well. So this is how it's roughed out. So it's like a small town type of scene, and I'm going with N-gauge for my layout because it saves space. I'm short on space, so I'm using N-gauge. The only problem with N-gauge is parts are more expensive, and especially locomotives. Now this layout, the curve on it is pretty tight, and I have problems in running 060 locomotives because they derail. They might go around fine on their own, but as soon as you connect up some rolling stock, they start derailing. So the best type of stuff to run on this is 040s, which are quite hard to find. This is a Lima shunter. It's an 040, and 040s will go around pretty any type of curve that you set up. So this locomotive had no problem going around this curve. 060s were a bit troublesome. I have a GWR pannier tank and one Great Western full-length carriage that I wanted to run for my local service. And the only problem with it is that the locomotive kept derailing on this side for some reason. This side was no problem, but this side was problematic. So a diesel rail car would work good because they have four-wheel bogies on both ends, and 040 stock goes round fine. So I thought anything with four-wheel bogies would be fine. I would probably say that any kind of larger, more modern diesel locomotive with four-wheel bogies will be fine on this too. But any that had six-wheel bogies might be troublesome. So, but the main thing I found is that trying to find 040 N-gauge locomotives are very hard to find. Apart from these Lima shunters, they seem to turn up quite often. But I bought 3 of these, and out of 3 of them, I only have one working model. The motors in them tend to burn out easily, and the motors tend to be troublesome. Also, that the bodywork seems to hang out quite a good way on either side of the track. So if you're going to use these locomotives, then set up your layout to accommodate for the extra width. Otherwise you'll be striking the edge of platforms and things like that. These Lima shunters can be temperamental going over points. This one in particular has trouble with this point, and if I try to run it very slowly, it usually gets stuck on this point. Not so bad on that one and that one, but it stops quite often on this one if I run it at a slow speed. So that's what we got. I've got some open wagons that I have, so I could need to buy some coal wagons for the coal merchant here, and if I put a factory here I can run different box vans in here. So coal could be used to power a boiler house thing, and I could have box wagons to bring in supplies and to take away the finished product. So that's what can go there. Obviously I need some road vehicles, say open trucks to carry sacks of coal for the coal merchant. Over here is the goods area, and I can have lorries to pull up to the goods shed. I might also say buy a small yard crane to mount on this platform to unload wagons here onto trucks, say. So that's what I could get. So this is what I have for my layout. I am building it cheaply, and this is version 3 of Solarton. So if you like what you see, then comment below. If you have any suggestions, then suggest those below as well. And until next time, this is Solar Tiger saying thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.